Yo, how's it going guys? Welcome back to a new video. Today's video is gonna be quite important because we're gonna be looking at one of the most important things in bullet echo, and that is armor penetration. I will define and explain what armor penetration is and how it works, and we shall also look at the different armor penetration values for each hero, and then we shall look at the common armor penetration gears and how useful they are for some of the heroes. I will also demonstrate to you how to calculate the effect of the different armor penetration gears on some of the heroes to tell you if these gears are viable or not. And without wasting any time, let's get straight into the video. This particular video will focus on armor penetration, and then in the next video, I will explain piercing power. But getting right into it, armor penetration is how much damage from your gun makes it to the health of the enemy and how much takes out the armor and doesn't make it to the health. So for example, if your gun has 0 armor penetration, this means that when you're shooting at an enemy, all the damage from your gun will be taken up by the armor, and then once the armor is gone, then that damage will start taking out the health. So that is if you have 0 armor penetration. But obviously no hero has 0 armor penetration. The lowest armor penetration that I've seen so far is, I think, 2. So that's that. And then if your gun has 100% armor penetration, this means that when you shoot at an enemy, all your damage will not reduce the armor, but will go straight to the health. So for example, if you shoot at an enemy with like 3000 armor, and they have like 1000 health, and you do 1000 damage, you're going to take out this enemy, because if your gun has 100% armor penetration, it means that the armor for this enemy will be untouched and all your damage will go straight to reducing their health. And if they have a health of 1000 and you do damage of 1000, provided you're not shooting through any walls, you will easily take out this enemy. So that's the basic explanation. I will do a quick recap of it. 0 armor penetration means the armor has to first be wiped out before your damage starts going on to health. 100% armor penetration means you don't touch armor at all and all your damage goes straight to the enemy health. So that's it for the definition of armor penetration. Proceeding to the next part of the video, let's look at the common armor penetration gears which can be used on every single hero. And these gears are only 2, the spiked shoulder and the gas grenade. But it is very important to note that in one of the most recent updates, these 2 gears were heavily nerfed. And I'll give an example. So for example, for the spiked shoulder, it increases your armor penetration by a percentage, and that percentage ranges from 2 to 16% depending on the level of your gear. My spiked shoulder is currently at Supreme, so it increases my armor penetration by 12%. And then we have the gas grenade, which increases armor penetration by a percentage also, that ranges from 1 to 9. And for my Supreme gas grenade, it increases armor penetration by 6%. Now, as I've said earlier, these gears were nerfed. At first, this figure was not a percentage, which means spiked shoulder would increase the armor penetration by a value of 2 to 16. And that means my Supreme spiked shoulder would have increased armor penetration by 12. And then for gas grenade, again, it's the same thing. Instead of 1 to 9% increase in armor penetration, it used to be an increase of 1 to 9. So my Supreme gas grenade would have increased armor penetration by 6. But now, because they change it to percentages, the effect just depends on the armor penetration that your hero has initially. If your hero has a very low armor penetration, then these percentages will not make a difference. And you realize that there are certain heroes on which these gears will be useless. They will not have any effect on the armor penetration. So you're better off using other gears for those heroes. That's it for the armor penetration gears. And then we move on to the armor penetration values for each hero. Now these values were kindly provided by Ken Ali via one of the YouTube comments, but he's also part of our Discord server and he's one of the moderators there. So thanks to him for these values. Now this is the list for the base armor penetration of all heroes. It doesn't include the increase in armor penetration given by the hero passives. Remember, as we were doing the full hero guides, as we go through the abilities, there are certain passive abilities which increase armor penetration for some heroes, and that includes Arnie, Ghost, Mirage, and Dragoon. But getting right into it, on your screen you will see the base values for each of the heroes, and as you can see, Arnie has the lowest base armor penetration, which is 2, but obviously he gets a bonus from his passives. And then another hero with a very high armor penetration is Leviathan. Then the average heroes include Levi with 40, Doc with 45, Freddy has 20, Raven 20, but the lowest ones are Dragoon and Arnie. And then considering the passive abilities of some of these heroes, Arnie gets an increase of 20 to his armor penetration from his passives, bringing it to 22. Dragoon gets an increase of 17, bringing it to 19. Mirage gets an increase of 20%. So we multiply her base AP of 67 times 1.2, and that gives us 80.4 armor penetration. And then we have Ghost with a base armor penetration of 15, that gets increased by 18 due to his passive ability, bringing it to a total of 35. Those are the basic armor penetration values for each of the heroes, and also the values when you consider their passive abilities. We now proceed to the viability of these armor penetration gears on each of the heroes. Now, as I discussed earlier at the start of the video, I stated that armor penetration is one of the most important things in Bullet Echo because it highly affects how you choose your gears. In this part of the video, we are going to be looking at the viability of the 2 common armor penetration gears on some of these heroes to see if these gears really make a difference to the armor penetration, or to see if it's better to choose other gears in the place of these ones. Starting off with Sparkle. Now Sparkle has a very low base armor penetration of 5, and that means equipping these armor penetration gears, the spiked shoulder and the gas grenade, is going to make a very small difference, and in terms of the game, this difference will not be significant at all. So let's look at the spiked shoulder first. My spiked shoulder is at supreme level currently, which means it increases the armor penetration by 12%. To increase something by 12%, you basically get 1 plus 0.12, and you end up with 1.12, and then you multiply by the value increasing. So for example, if you want to increase 5 by 12%, we just get 12%, which is 12 out of 100, which is the same as 0.12. We add that to 1, then we multiply by 5, and that gives us an armor penetration of 5.6 with a spiked shoulder. Now, if we equip the gas grenade, we would take 6%, which is 6 out of 100, which is the same as 0.06. And then we add that to 1, bringing it to 1.06, and multiply by 5, which is the armor penetration of Sparkle without any gears. And this brings it to 5.3. So 5.6 and 5.3, the armor penetration of this hero will not even increase by 1, even if you use both of these gears. So which means these armor penetration gears are basically useless on Sparkle, especially if you have not upgraded them. So keep that in mind. And then you can basically apply this same calculation to other heroes to test if your armor penetration gears will make a difference. And here we've done it with another hero that has a relatively low armor penetration, and that's Freddy. His base armor penetration is 20, and if you increase that by 12%, as we showed earlier, it brings it to a total of 22.4, which is a 2.4 increase with a spiked shoulder. And then if we use the gas grenade, that brings an increase of 1.2, which is still not very useful compared to the other gears which you can equip on Freddy. In this case, the armor penetration gears are not useless on Freddy, but they make a small difference. So the choice is up to you in this case. And then in the case of Levi, her base armor penetration is 40, with a spiked shoulder that brings it to 44.8, which is kind of a significant increase of 4.8. And then with the gas grenade, it brings it to 42.4. Again, some increase of 2.4. Now for Levi, I use the spiked shoulder, but I don't use the gas grenade. As you can see, the spiked shoulder gives a bigger increase in armor penetration than the gas grenade. And in the place of the gas grenade, I tend to use the third knuckles, which increase the damage to health. And then finally, Leviathan, who has an armor penetration of 80. These gears make a significant difference to his armor penetration. So if you want to use those gears over others, you're free to do so. It's up to you. But in my opinion, on Leviathan, I tend to use his full set because it gives a lot of bonuses. You can use these quick maths on every single hero to try and find out how useful the armor penetration gears will be. So yeah, I guess that's all for today. You can go and apply this knowledge to choose your gears better. And I guess at this point, I thank you for watching the video. Stay tuned and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.